Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game review to Everton's 2-0 win over Brighton Hove Albion at the Amex Stadium on Saturday afternoon. What a win that was for Rafa Benitez's Everton side. Like I said on Saturday in the instant match reaction, some of the football we played on Saturday afternoon was some of the best football I've seen Everton play in a long time, and it was fantastic to see us go out and for the majority of the game at least dominate and comfortably go and get the 3 points. Brighton had a couple of chances of course to get in the game and they started the game really well, but once Everton sort of settled into it and once Everton sort of grew into it, we were always the team on top, weren't we? We were always the team that looked likely to go out and get the 3 points. Obviously very busy day today. It is transfer deadline day. We're going to be doing loads of videos, loads of streams, all that sort of stuff, covering all of the latest transfer news. Solomon Rondon, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Kean, all of that good stuff. We'll be covering that throughout the day, as well as a live stream after this talking about the latest Everton news and rumours. But for this one, we are going to talk about Everton's 2-0 win against Brighton, obviously with it being the game review. And as I said, that a really good win for Rafa Benitez's Everton side. Going into the international break, obviously undefeated, 2 wins in the Premier League and 1 draw, obviously beating Southampton and Brighton with the draw against Leeds, and of course that win against Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup second round in midweek as well. 3 away games over the last week or so. 2 won, 1 drawn, which is always a good sign, of course. Like I said, difficult away games as well. Going to Leeds is never easy, and to be honest, let's be honest, I think we all feel like we should have took all 3 points against Leeds. And again, even the Brighton game, as I said, Brighton were in really good form, undefeated in the Premier League up until Saturday afternoon, playing some really nice football. And although Brighton are a side that a lot of Evertonians would say, we should be beating and we should be going out and dominating in the game, they're still a decent side who play some nice football, and Brighton, I feel, will beat a lot of teams this season given the way and the style in which they play in. So it was really important that Everton went out there and sort of stamped our authority a little bit and went out and got all 3 points, and that's exactly what we did. And like I said, barring a 15-minute spell at the start of the game where we were sort of trying to find our feet and collect the ball and keep all the possession, I think Everton were really good on Saturday afternoon. Demarai Gray, absolutely electric once again. That lad is a bargain, an absolute bargain. I've seen, you'll see it all today, on social media and on all the different news channels of Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, blah, Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho, who is the best signing of the summer. 1.5 million for Demarai Gray. Take all your Cristiano Ronaldos, your Lionel Messis, your Jack Grealishes, your Kylian Mbappes, and you can throw them to one side. I want Demarai Gray, mate. What an absolute player that lad is. Electric again on Saturday afternoon, getting forward, taking players on, direct. Again, I've just watched the highlights of the game just because I wanted to see his goal again. But you actually look at his goal, and Alan plays the ball into him in the centre of midfield, and he's quite a way away from goal, Demarai Gray. The ball isn't played into him in the box, it's not played into him on the edge of the box, it's played into him near enough, about 10-15 yards from the halfway line, and he just sprints, gets it into the box, gets it on his left foot and fires it across goal, and that's exactly what Everton need. Everton need a winger, Everton need wide players who are direct, who are going to pick the ball up in the centre of midfield, and even if they're 30-40 yards away from goal, they're going to think, do you know what, there's one thing on my mind here, and that's getting this ball into that box and getting a shot off. And that's exactly what Demarai Gray's mentality is. We saw it against Leeds and we saw it on Saturday against Brighton. He picks the ball up, and no matter where he is on the pitch, he just wants to drive forward, and I thought he was absolutely exceptional. Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré in midfield once again. What a performance by Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré. Alan, for me, hasn't put a foot wrong all season, and I know we're only a couple of games in. I get that, I do understand that, but we spoke a lot about Alan last season, obviously with it being his first season at Everton, first season in the Premier League. We spoke about how, prior to his injury he was absolutely amazing, but then he come back from his injury and let's be honest, he was probably rushed back into the team. He'd done an interview with Everton, late last season, saying that it's extremely difficult when you've been out injured for so long to just get thrown straight back into the team and automatically adapt and play as you were before you were injured. It's really, really hard to do that, and you could see that with some of Alan's late performances later on in the season. He was struggling, he wasn't being able to keep up with the game, and there was a lot of Evertonians who were sort of questioning whether or not he was good enough to be, in this Everton team, quick enough to be in the Premier League, physical enough to battle with Premier League midfielders. But he's shown once again in the opening couple of weeks of this season is when you've got 100% fit Alan, and when you've got an Alan who isn't carrying injuries and who's had the rest that he needed, and who's, like I said, who's ready to go. He's one of the best centre midfielders in world football, and he is certainly one of the best centre midfielders in the Premier League. He was absolutely amazing again on Saturday. Every time the ball comes to him, he was nicking it, he was picking it up. He got the assist for Demarai Gray's goal. It's a bit of a tongue twister this early in the morning. Obviously, he was, he played the ball into Seamus Coleman for the penalty. He was so direct, and again, this is a player who we were used to having this thought process that he just sort of sits in front of the back line and does the sweeping up, and then going forward you don't really get much from him, and maybe last season that was true to an extent, whereas this season, both goals we scored on Saturday afternoon, Alan was directly involved in, which was amazing to see, because it's amazing to see your midfielders picking the ball up and moving forward. And I feel like that's something we've seen with Rafa Benitez's sides. I'll admit, I'll hold my hands up, I was one of the Evertonians who was quite, wasn't 100% sold on Rafa Benitez being the Everton manager, and one of the reasons was because I thought the football that he played was rather defensive, or certainly the football I'd seen him play in other clubs was rather defensive, and I think at the moment we're being proved wrong. Everton seem very attacking, again, the shots we had on goal, the attempts we had on goal on Saturday afternoon were amazing. We just kept going forward, even at 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go. We were still looking for another goal. We were still looking to go and add to that, that score sheet, and that's exactly what we want to see from an Everton side. I understand that there will be times this season where maybe we're 1-2-0 up and against one of the big sides, or in a difficult game, and we get the ball to the corner flag and we shield it and we hold it and we don't want to concede, and we sort of just, again, it's a bit boring, it's a bit defensive, but you do what you've got to do to win the game. I get that. But in games against sides like Brighton, and again, no disrespect to Brighton, but in games and sides like Brighton, Southampton on the opening day, when you're winning these games of football, you want to win by as many as possible. You want to go out there and, look at Manchester United against Southampton last season, the 9-0 win. Man United were home and dry by 6-0, 7-0, 5-0. They could have brought all of the first team players off, made a couple of subs and just said, right, okay, don't need to go and, do anything strenuous, don't need to risk any injury, don't need to, keep the top players on and risk them getting hurt, so we'll just take them off and we'll see this out now, and we'll have a defensive board in half an hour and we'll finish the game 5-0 and everyone's happy. But they didn't. They kept going for more. They wanted 6, they wanted 7, they wanted 8, they wanted 9, and I'm sure they wanted 10 and 11 and 12 as well. And that's what I've always wanted to see from an Everton side. I've wanted to see an Everton side that when they're winning, they don't just go, right, okay, we're winning 2-0 or 3-0 now, we'll calm it down and we'll just see this game out. You're wanting blood, you're wanting more, you're wanting a third, you're wanting a fourth, you're wanting a fifth. And that's what this Everton side over the last couple of games have seemed like under Rafa Benitez. And again, I'm not getting too carried away with myself. I understand we're still only 3 games into the season, and I get that. I get that we've still got to play any of the bigger teams, if you'd like to call them that. I understand all of that. But I'm just really, really happy with what I've seen from this Everton side so far. And I think on Saturday night, going forward especially, we were absolutely exceptional. I really, really do. But massive thank you for watching live. If you are watching live, I understand it's very, very early currently. Very early. Usually you wouldn't see me awake at this point. So a massive thank you to everybody watching. 19 people watching. That's amazing. If you could hit that like button, it would mean an absolute massive amount to me. And if you're watching live, don't forget to get involved in the live comments. I will be getting in the live comments very shortly. So don't forget to get your thoughts and get your comments in there. I understand it's transfer deadline day. I get that. And we will be talking about transfers directly after this live stream. We'll be finishing this one and then we'll be doing another one straight away talking about the latest transfer rumours as well. But for this one, we're going to strictly keep it about the game because, like I said, we do a review every game, and it's only fair that we do one for this one, because this for me was, again, as I've said, without getting too carried away with ourselves, I think some of the football we saw on Saturday was some of the best football we've seen at Everton Football Club in a long time. The passages of play between Luca Dean, Alex Iwobi when he come on was absolutely electric. Once again, another really good performance by Alex Iwobi off the bench. Like I said, Demarai Gray, even Andros Townsend, who wasn't massively involved going forward, he wasn't massively involved in an attacking sense, but he was working hard, he was battling, he was throwing himself in the way when he needed to, he was throwing challenges in, he was putting himself about, he was showing his work rate, and it does, I suppose, lead into the transfer deadline day, because you look at this Everton squad, and, you think, okay, we've got, 11 hours? No, not 11 hours, more than that. We've got, 13, 14 hours before the transfer window ends, and ideally would like Everton to go out and strengthen, and I hope and I wish and I would expect Everton to go out and strengthen over the next few hours or so, because let's be honest, we understand that beyond our first team, our squad isn't very thick. Look at the bench the other day, for example. So another, back to 2 goalkeepers on the bench. No Jean-Philippe Gbamin, he was out with a dental abscess. No Yerry Mina, of course, he was out with a slight knock. Tom Davis not involved. Moise Kean not involved. We know he's leaving and going to Juventus, and that'll be confirmed at some point today. Obviously no James Rodriguez either. Again, question marks around in his future. So the team, again, the starting 11 was very good, and we've got a really good starting 11. Beyond that, the bench, the squad, with it, with a couple of injuries, is really thin. So we 100% need to go out and strengthen the squad. And this is what makes me laugh when people are having a go at, why are we after Rondon? Why are we signing Rondon? I've got no issue with bringing in Rondon. You come in on a free. If there's any transfer fee, it'll be very minimal. His wages will be very minimal. He's an experienced Premier League striker. Actually had some really good stats at Newcastle, and he'll come in and he'll provide backup for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, and that's what he'll do. And he strengthens the squad. He allows another option off the bench, somebody to come on with 20-30 minutes to go and run around for a bit and give Dom a rest. Dom has withdrawn from the England squad yesterday with a broken toe and a thigh injury. We know Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been playing with a broken toe for the last 3 or 4 weeks because he was injured before the Manchester United game, and we simply couldn't afford to not have started him in the opening couple of Premier League games. So Dom has been playing through that injury for weeks now. So having somebody like a Solomon Rondon there, to imagine Dominic Calvert-Lewin, breaks his toe, plays the game against Southampton, scores, then maybe you give him a rest against Leeds, or you start him against Leeds, you bring him off with half an hour, 35 minutes to go, to bring on an experienced Solomon Rondon in there. Now, I know some people say, we could have done that with Moise Kean, but Moise Kean doesn't want to be anywhere near Everton Football Club. It's very clear by the last 3 or 4 days that Moise Kean, just wanted out of Everton Football Club. He just wanted, to be anywhere but Everton, which, is sad, because, again, I like Moise Kean. I think he's a decent player. I think he could be, a fantastic striker, but he just doesn't want to be at Everton. Sombero says Kean was just announced by Juve. Yes, Moise Kean has just been announced by Juventus as a new player. So there you go. Moise Kean has officially left Everton Football Club to rejoin Juventus. Let me just tweet that out. Bear with me a second. It might be a bit manic today because there's all sorts of transfers going on. There's all sorts of things that are happening. So just bear with me 2 seconds while I tweet this out. But yeah, like I said, for me, no issue with the Solomon Rondon transfer. I think it's good business. He come in, he's experienced striker, provide a bit of experience on the bench. Come on, give Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison a rest when need be. No issue with it at all. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me tweet this one out then. But yeah, like I said, beyond our starting 11, I do think that our squad is quite thin, and worryingly thin as well. You look at Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré, and they've been excellent in the opening, couple of Premier League games, but if they get an injury, you're sort of looking at it thinking, well, is Jean-Philippe Gbamin ready to step in and play that role, play that Abdoulaye Doucouré role in the Premier League? I don't know whether he is ready yet. Is anybody ready to step in and do the Alan role as well as Alan does? I don't know. So it is slightly worrying, but at the moment, with the full strength team and everybody fit, Everton are looking really good. Moise Kean has officially joined Juventus. There you go. We'll say best of luck to Moise, because we're not bitter. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, let us know your thoughts, by the way, on the transfers that Everton have been linked with. You may as well. We'll get into them slightly. Let us know your thoughts on the game on on Saturday as well. For me, really good results, really good performance. There you go. We'll tweet that one out. Don't know if the club have tweeted it out yet, but it has officially been announced by Juventus. So there you go. Kean has officially left Everton and rejoined Juventus. That deal is up in the air in regards to fees and whether it's a loan or whether it's a permanent to buy, all of that sort of stuff. But he has officially left Everton, and that is the biggest news, I suppose, of the morning so far. So we're at 8 o'clock, 8:15 in the morning, and Moise Kean's officially left Everton. So there you go. That's the first bit of business of the morning, I suppose you could say. So far. But anyway, yeah, look, let's get back into the game. There'll be a lot of transfers and rumours and stuff going on over the last couple of hours, but let's get back into the game. So like I said, Everton started the game okay. I think in the first opening 10-15 minutes we sort of struggled to get possession of the ball. Brighton was certainly the team with the more possession. They were certainly the team that were controlling the ball, controlling the play, and you were sort of thinking, you know, Everton need to start dictating this here. You need to start getting your Allans and your Doucourés on the ball. Demarai Gray needs to start getting involved a lot more. You know, again, you want Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the game, Richarlison in the game, and just Townsend in the game, but we just couldn't quite get the ball. We just couldn't quite, you know, hold the ball. We couldn't quite keep it for long enough. And Brighton were certainly the team on top in that first 10 or 15 minutes. They were the side that were looking. They were never really threatening Jordan Pickford's goal, but they were certainly looking the more likely to go and open the score. And given the fact that they were holding the ball much better than Everton and they were keeping the ball much better than Everton, it was quite a lively opening 10 or 15 minutes. That battle between Yves Bissouma and Richarlison was as lively as ever. You know, those two were really at each other's throats all game. Really healthy, good football and battle tackles flying in. And you could see that Everton, I think, were getting a little bit frustrated by the lack of possession. Everton were getting a little bit frustrated by the fact that we weren't controlling the game. We weren't able to get on the ball. We weren't able to keep the ball for any sustained periods of time. But after, like I said, 15-20 minutes, if you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing. But after that sort of first 10 or 15 minute spell, as I said, Everton, again, once we got the ball and once we picked the ball up, and once we started to control possession and once we started to move forward with the ball, Brighton never really could get anywhere near us, could they? Like I said, you know, from 25-30 minutes onwards, from that point for the rest of the game, Everton were just completely on top. And the title of this live stream says Blues Cruise, the first away win of the season, and I honestly think we did. And again, that's no disrespect to Brighton whatsoever, but I just think it was I don't want to say very easy for Everton, because Brighton, you know, they had a couple of chances. They had a free kick, of course, which Jordan Pickford was forced into making a good save. Jordan had to make a couple of good saves throughout the game, but we were certainly the team on top. We were certainly the team getting forward. We were certainly the team creating the most chances, having the most efforts. And it could have been 4-5-0 on a different day. Abdoulaye Doucouré has a chance in the first half, which he should be doing better with. Let's be perfectly honest with you. The ball drops to him via a Brighton mistake, and he gets it on the edge of the box. And I think he's got the Southampton goal at the forefront of his brain, and he's trying to whip one into the top corner. And again, where in reality, if he actually just squares it to Demarai Gray, you know, we're through on goal, and I think it'd been 1-0 at that point. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has one when we go 1-0. We'll talk about the goal in a second, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin has one where Alan plays a lovely back pass behind him, and Dom gets a shot off on goal and just can't get it on target. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, you'd bet your house that Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets that on target. Maybe it's because he's suffering with an injury. Maybe, you know, again, that's giving him a problem at the moment, and that's why he's had to withdraw from the England team. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But again, it was another chance to go 2-0 up at that point. Let's talk about the goal. As I said before, Alan picks the ball up in the midfield, plays it to Demarai Gray in an area that you would think, right, okay, this is a good chance for him to run at the defence, put Brighton under a little bit of pressure. But as I said before, this is exactly what we've needed from Everton players in the past, and we haven't necessarily had. It is players that don't need to pick the ball up in the 6-yard box to think, right, I'm gonna have a shot here. You know, don't need to pick the ball up in the penalty area and think, I could probably shoot here. Players that will pick the ball up 25-30 yards from goal and not just have a shot and waste it, but will think, I'm going to get my head down, I'm going to run at the defence here, I'm going to take them on, I'm going to force them into a decision, and I'm going to have a shot. Direct players, that's what we've lacked so much for so long, is direct players. And yes, we've got it with Richarlison a bit. Doesn't show it enough, but you've got it with Richarlison a bit. Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't direct in that sense. He's not going to pick the ball up 25, 30 yards from goal and take on 3 or 4 players and slot it. You know, we know what Dominic Calvert-Lewin is. We know what he's good at, and I think we're all in acceptance of that. But we've needed wingers and attackers that aren't afraid to get their head down when they pick the ball up in the midfield and just run at goal. And their sole purpose is, right, okay, I'm going to create a chance here and I'm going to score a goal by running at the defenders, taking them on the outside and forcing them into making a decision. And that's exactly what Demarai Gray does. We saw it against Leeds. We saw it a couple of times against Southampton as well, and he was unlucky not to score. And we saw it again on Saturday. Excellent ball by Alan into him. Plays him into loads of space. But Demarai Gray's still got an awful lot to do. It's not like I said, it's not like Demarai Gray was played a ball in the 6-yard box and all he had to do was get the shot off on goal. Demarai Gray has still got an awful lot to do from this point. He picks it up, he drives with it, he gets it on his left side, he forces the defender into committing, he takes the shot away. Should Sanchez do a little bit better in goal? Probably, but I'm not asked because I'm an Everton fan and I was absolutely over the moon when that ball rustled into the back of the net. And it's a great goal, and Everton are 1-0 up, and all of a sudden Everton have got the advantage. Like I said, that's exactly what we need, and it's exactly what we've needed for, you know, I can't even begin to count how many years we've lacked players with that sort of directness. We've lacked players with the ability to just pick the ball up and run at defenders and you know, create chances and score goals from those areas. And Everton go 1-0 up and you're thinking, right, okay, advantage Everton now. And that's when we really started to get a hold of the game. I think that's when we really started to pick the ball up. You know, again, like I said, we were creating chances. Abdoulaye Doucouré has one a couple of minutes later, which he should do a lot better with. We should be 2-0 up, home and dry. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has one as well. Demarai Gray had I think one where, again, he fizzed the ball across the box and there was just nobody there to get on the end of it. And Everton were really starting to pressure Brighton now, and again we were looking the team on top, and we grew in confidence from that point. We grew in confidence with the football we were playing. All of a sudden we were holding the possession and Brighton was struggling to get the ball off us. All of a sudden we were controlling the game, we were dictating what happens, and it was a really good end to the first half. We struggled a little bit to get into the game, but it was a really good end to the first 45 minutes. Anyway, let's get into the live comments before we do go into talking about the second half. If you're watching live, by the way, I understand it is very early, but if you are watching live, don't forget to get your comments in. That would be absolutely fantastic, and we will get involved with as many of them as possible. If you're watching as a YouTube video, hit that thumbs up button. It literally only takes a second, and it would mean a massive amount to me. If you're watching live, you can hit the thumbs up button as well. By the way, I've just realised that, you know, you can hit the thumbs up button even if you're watching as a live stream. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We are aiming to hit 5,000 subscribers by Christmas, so if you could subscribe, it would be a massive, it will mean a great deal to me. And this is probably the right day to subscribe because we're going to have all the latest Everton breaking news as and when it hits on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe, get that bell notification on to keep yourself up to date. Anyway, let's get into the live comments then. Tom says, hi Cam. Hi Tom, hope you're doing well, my mate. Stephen says, morning Stephen. Chenlar says, what's happening Cam? Not even had breakfast yet. I hope we don't get Maitland-Niles. I don't like his attitude, not bothered if it's alone though. No, I haven't had my breakfast either, to be honest with you, mate. Straight into it, no brekkie. Got a coffee though, which is always good. This is effectively breakfast for me. I probably won't eat until dinner time. On Maitland-Niles, I like him. I do. I think, you know, there's a couple of reports I've read over the last 24 hours to state that he wants to play right back, which is the first priority, because Everton are in desperate need of a right back. And if Maitland-Niles was going to come into the club and say, oh no, I'd rather play in midfield, then I don't really know why we'd be trying to make that signing happen. Look, I understand the Instagram thing last night. When it's going for your club, you're sort of looking at it and you're thinking, yes, get in, lad. Obviously, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Maitland-Niles obviously put a little story on Instagram which effectively said, you know, why can't I just go and play where I'm loved or something to Arsenal? And I get that when that's, you know, when it's obviously not against your club, you're sort of thinking, oh, you know, a little bit of drama there. If Maitland-Niles was an Everton player putting that on Instagram, you would question his attitude, you'd question why he was doing that, you'd question his professionalism. So I understand that, I do, but I do think he's a very good, talented young player, and if he was happy to come in and play right back for Everton, then I think he could do a really good job. But do I see Arsenal? Let's be honest. Arsenal will see Everton as a direct rival for European football this season. Some Arsenal fans still seem to think that they'll challenge for the league this season, which is beyond delusional, beyond delusional. Let's be honest, Arsenal and Everton are very similar in terms of where they are at the moment as football clubs in the Premier League. So for Arsenal to sell one of their biggest young prospects, up-and-coming young prospects, to one of their biggest rivals in the Premier League, I'd understand why they're hesitant to do that. Joseph says, morning G, morning my mate. Stephen says we should be going for Renato Sanchez, very good midfielder. He's going to Wolves, isn't he, I believe, on loan. Snowfall says, why we always leave our transfer business till the last minute, leaves us no time to sort anything out if there's an issue. Everton, mate, for you, Everton. Stephen says, we need to wrap Alan and Decore in cotton wool. Yes, we do. Forgotten Will the Movies says, morning Cam, mate, long live the undefeated run. Undefeated again, mate. Undefeated again. What? By the way, what's this Everton starting seasons well mentality? I don't get it. Last 2 seasons we've started absolutely brilliantly. Let's hope we don't fall off like we did last season in November. But I'm used to Everton starting Premier League seasons slow and not winning in the first 4. Never mind being undefeated in the first 4. It's mad, isn't it? Sombrero says, absolutely loving the mentality of Rafa's team. Yeah, workhorses, never stop working, never stop battling, never stop giving it 110%. And this is something that Rafa Benitez alluded to last week in one of his press conferences. He said that, look, I'll make mistakes. I'll make mistakes with the team selection. I'll make mistakes with the substitutes. The players will make mistakes on the pitch with their performances. But there's one thing you can never, ever, ever, ever not do, and that's not give 110%, not show your desire, not show your commitment, not show your passion, not show your affection for this football club. You can make mistakes with the football and with how you're playing, but you can never not show 110%. And I think one thing we've seen in all 4 games that Everton have played in so far this season is that the majority of the players that have been wearing, the shirt, I've given it 110%. I've shown their commitment. I've shown their desire. I've shown their want to play. Look at Andros Townsend, for example. In terms of footballer-wise, he hasn't done an awful lot in the opening few games. He was good against Southampton. He had a good game. He was throwing crosses in. Obviously, he was unlucky not to score. Again, he scored against Huddersfield, which was great, and he worked hard on Saturday. He hasn't massively been involved going forward, but his work rate and his defensive work rate as well is second to none. Absolutely second to none. And okay, he mightn't have as much natural talent as other players on the team, but he'll work harder than other players on the team. And that's all Rafa Benitez wants. Rafa Benitez wants you to work your bollocks off. It doesn't matter how talented you are. Obviously, the more talented, the better. But he wants you to work your arse off. That's why I think he really, really likes Richarlison. Snowfall says Diaz won't come. It's typical Everton, to be proved wrong. Last offer for Diaz today, says Jonathan. Again, like I said, we will be talking about transfers in a little bit. The Diaz stuff, it'll be difficult at this point. It will. Because Porto, without James Rodriguez going there, wants a lot of money. And James Rodriguez isn't going there. So, Chenlar says, are you going on Toffee TV today for Deadline Day, or are you doing your own? I will be on Toffee TV with the lads today, covering Deadline Day. But I'll also be on the Mighty Blues as well. As and when news breaks, we'll be getting it out as soon as possible. So, I'll be everywhere, mate. I'll be everywhere. Snowball says, should have got Gay back and give Gomez away to Accrington Stanley. Snowball also says, Rondon ain't a bad 4-choice striker on the ass. Evertonian Luke says, morning, mate, think it's going to be quiet for us or think it'll be busy? I think it'll be busy for us today, personally. But we'll wait and see. Sombrero says, Kean was just announced by Juve. Good, gone, good riddance, says Steve. Snowball says, Cam looking like Jack Duckworth today. I don't know who that is, mate. I don't know who that is. Let me have a little Google, though, because I'm intrigued now. Now you've intrigued me. Who is Jack Duckworth? Jack Buckworth? Is it Buckworth or Duckworth? No, it's Duckworth, isn't it? Jack Duckworth. There you go. Let's have a little look. Oh, okay. He's an old fella. But, yeah. What is he, in Coronation Street or something? I don't know. There you go. Cheers, mate. Colin says, morning Cam, just before going to work makes my Tuesday even better. Nice one, Colin, really appreciate that, my mate. Snowfall says, always give our players away for peanuts and pay over the top for whoever comes in. And best of luck to Superstar Kean, says Sombrero. Yeah, look, Moise Kean's left the club now. As we said, best of luck to Moise in the future. Didn't quite work for him at Everton. Probably going to do a separate video on Moise Kean, to be honest with you, over the next day or so. Just regarding the transfer, because I think it is, you know, it is disappointing because we all wanted them to, you know, to work. We all wanted Moise Kean to, you know, to be a success at Everton, and unfortunately that hasn't been the case. And Toffee Top says, starting early camp definitely worth a thumbs up. Thank you very much, my mate. Really, really do appreciate it. Yeah, so like I said, you know, again, we really started to get control of the ball towards the end of the first half. We got the goal, we went 1-0 up, and we had a couple of other chances to make it 2 or 3 as well. And I suppose the hope at half time, and I was going to say the worry, but I was never really worried personally. I don't know if anybody else was. I was never really worried, but I suppose the feeling going into the second half was, right, okay, let's continue. You know, let's continue as we were as we left off. Don't allow Brighton to get back into the game. Don't allow Brighton to get a period of sort of, you know, momentum at the start of the second half where they're going to come out and they're going to be the team on top. They're going to be the team fighting, and don't let them get the equaliser. And typically that happens in football when a team, you know, there's always typically a period in the second half where even if you're getting absolutely battered, there'll be a period where for 10 or 15 minutes you will have a little bit of possession, you'll have a little bit of the ball, you'll have a couple of chances to get back in the game. Look at Arsenal against Manchester City the other day, for example. They got absolutely pummeled, but for 10 or 15 minutes before Granit Xhaka decided to throw the game, they had a period where they were the better team, they were on top, they had more of the ball, they were getting forward, they actually looked the more likely to score. And you were sort of thinking, right, are Brighton going to have that period? Are Brighton going to be, you know, have a period in the second half where they're more likely to score, they're coming forward, they're attacking? But to be fair, they didn't, and Everton didn't allow them to do that. Everton just come out and again started the second half as we ended the first half, quick, out the books quickly, you know, attacking, getting the ball, moving forward, creating chances, trying to get in through, you know, in goal, working hard, battling defensively. I thought we were very good on Saturday. I thought we were very good, and it has to be said. Look, it has to be said, because I'm sure we all sat here and had the same look on our face when the team news got announced at 2 o'clock and we heard that, you know, Yerry Mina had picked up a knock and he was going to be out, and it was Michael Kean and Mason Holgate. And it's only fair that when we sit here and criticise Michael Kean and Mason Holgate for not performing to the standard that we expect, and for making silly mistakes, and for, you know, for being a fault at giving goals away, it's only fair that we sit here and we give them credit where credit's due. And I actually think both Mason and Michael Kean the other day were good. You know, okay, they weren't put under an immense amount of pressure by Brighton. Like I said, Brighton had a couple of chances. They had one from a free kick, which was saved really cleverly by Jordan Pickford. I think Trossard had a shot as well, which Jordan dealt with. But even though they weren't put under any massive amounts of pressure, they still dealt with everything they needed to deal with, and they dealt with it well. They dealt with it really, really well. And like I said, you have to give credit where credit's due, because, you know, certainly me on the streams, and I know a lot of Blues are quick to jump on Michael Kean when he makes a silly mistake, or Mason Holgate when he makes a silly mistake, but the pair of them the other day I thought were really, really solid. Wasn't anything unbelievable, wasn't an amazing performance because they weren't put under an immense amount of pressure, but they didn't put Everton under pressure, put it that way. You know, typically we're used to seeing, certainly this season, certainly Michael Kean be under no pressure but cause Everton pressure by his own mistakes, whereas he didn't on Saturday. He didn't. He was very solid, kept it simple, done everything he needs to do, and just kept it, you know, again, kept it sort of route one, and that works, and it worked on Saturday. And then, like I said, into the midfield, we were controlling the midfield. Alan, amazing, another absolutely amazing performance. Abdoulaye Doucouré, brilliant as well, absolutely brilliant. And you know, you started to see the benefits of an attacking Everton, and Everton that'll get forward, and Everton that'll want to create chances, and Everton that'll just constantly be moving the ball. And as I said, in that second half, some of the football we witnessed, some of the passages of play between Luca Dean, Demarai Gray, Alex Iwobi, you know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin involved, Richarlison involved, some of the passages of play were some of the best I've seen in a long, long time, and Brighton couldn't get anywhere near us. They couldn't get anywhere near us, and it was so positive, and it was so exciting to see. Obviously, you know, not too late on in the second half, we get the penalty. Alan plays another really, really nice ball into to Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman actually does brilliantly, to be fair. Seamus does brilliantly. He holds his body up, he shields the ball sort of, but he leans in to force the defender into, I think it's Cooper, into making the challenge. He tummels Seamus Coleman over, and it's a penalty all day long. It comes to something when even John Moss has given Everton penalties. That's how you know it was a blatant penalty, because even John Moss believed it was a penalty, and then VAR didn't even have anything to say about it. That's how you know it's a blatant penalty. I mean, we should have had another one for what was a blatant pull on Richarlison, but there you go. And we get the penalty, as I've said, to Seamus Coleman goes over, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin steps up to take all of, again, I don't want to talk too much about the penalty situation, the drama with Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because it's over now, and you saw in the celebrations, and there's a video going around on Twitter, which is actually really, really good, of it's the celebration from a different angle. I think it might be from Everton's behind the scenes video, or Everton's extended highlights video, and it shows Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison embracing after he'd scored the penalty. It shows Richarlison going up, what looked like, again, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but what looks like Richarlison apologising to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because you've got Dom sort of patting him on the back and almost looking like he verbally says, basically, it's alright, don't worry about it. And you've got Demarai Gray and I think Seamus Coleman, who are both sort of arm over Richarlison, looking at him as if to say, it's alright, it's done now, don't worry about it. Obviously, again, really, really good show of leadership by both Seamus Coleman and Andros Townsend during that situation, to go over and effectively take the penalty off the ball off Richarlison and say, no, Dom's our penalty taker, he'll take it. Rafa Benitez spoke about the incident after the game and said, yeah, look, again, we understand Richarlison wants to take penalties, he wants to score as many as possible, and in the next game, if we get 2 penalties, Richarlison will be on the next one, and if we'd have had 2 penalties, Richarlison would have been on the second one, but Dom takes the first one. And look, we've seen it from Richie before, haven't we? Again, he obviously wants to score as many goals as he can, and I think he sort of felt like if he was to pick the ball up first, that would mean he automatically got to take the penalty. Maybe a bit of losses in translation with the original plans. I don't know. But ultimately, the situation was dealt with really, really professionally and really, really well by, like I said, the senior players, Seamus Coleman, Andros Townsend, but also Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who ultimately took the ball off Richarlison, put all of that stuff out of the way, and just focused on burying the penalty. And yeah, like I said, Dom puts the ball down. Again, second penalty in 2 Premier League games for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So both goals were almost carbon copies of the goals against Leeds, weren't they? Demarai Gray on his left foot, cutting the ball across, and obviously a Dominic Calvert-Lewin penalty. And yeah, Dom puts the ball down, strikes it really, really well into the back of the net, and Everton are 2-0 up. And again, you're sort of thinking, right, okay, home and try now, go out. I was sort of expecting, as I said before, I was maybe sort of expecting Everton to, maybe, again, shield the ball, defend a little bit, again, just see the game out, nothing too much, not really going for the third, fourth, just see the game out and make sure you don't concede, but we didn't. We kept going, we wanted more, we wanted the third, we wanted the fourth. Alex Iwobi come on, and I said it on Friday, and I'll say it again, for me, Alex Iwobi has had a really, really good start to the season. Obviously, scored against Huddersfield the other day. He's been involved in most of the goals Everton have scored this season in some way, shape or form, and he come on and he done exactly what you would want from Alex Iwobi, coming off the bench with 15-20 minutes to go against a tired Brighton side. He gave them something to think about. He ran at them. The passages of play were great. He had a couple of chances himself. Arguably should have scored at least a goal. He had one where he, right at the end, where he was basically running with the ball for about half an hour, and he just ended up running it backwards, and the referee blew for full time. But he had a shot off just as he come on, which he, again, you'd have thought he'd have done a little bit better with. Obviously, Abdoulaye Doucouré has a chance. Great ball played across to Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray plays a beautiful ball into Abdoulaye Doucouré. He's running on goal. Richie's sort of at the side when you're thinking, just square it to Richie, he's there, he's free. He doesn't, obviously, he goes for the shot himself, and I actually think if he shoots a little bit earlier, it's 3-0, and again, we're all, absolutely limbs in the away end once again, but he doesn't, he goes a little bit too late, and the goalkeeper ends up making a decent save, and to be fair to Sanchez, the goal, Brighton's goalkeeper at the weekend, actually thought he put in a really good performance, considering Everton were massively on top and created a lot of chances, and obviously, again, with a more dominant side. I actually think he was really, really solid, to be honest with you, and I think without him in goal, it could have been 3-4-5. I think he made a couple of really, really big saves, in the second half to keep Brighton in the game. Everton had 14 shots to Brighton's 14 as well, which is surprising, to be honest with you. I would have thought Everton would have had a lot more than that. 5 on target to Brighton's 3. 34% possession, which is just amazing, with almost half the passes of what Brighton had. So it showed that they might have had the ball a little bit more, but we certainly done a lot more with the ball when we had it. 77% passing accuracy, 5 corners to 4. They had 1 offside. We didn't have an offside whatsoever. And yeah, like I said, we were just more effective with the ball. I'm surprised by that possession stat, because I actually think we controlled the ball an awful lot more than they did in the second half. I think we were much the more dominant side, but maybe that was because every time we had the ball we were doing more with it, whereas they weren't. You know, every time they had the ball it was being swept up by Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré. So yeah, like I said, Everton again see the game out, albeit seeing the game out by pushing for more, pushing for a third, a fourth goal. Like I said, Abdoulaye Doucouré has the chance. Demarai Gray has one as well towards the end, where, you know, he takes the shot. He obviously just before he goes off, and he's unlucky to not score a second. You know, like I said, Andre Gomez, I think it was Andre Gomez, come on, didn't he? And showed the game up. Obviously, Alex Iwobi come on at this point and was really professional as well. Just showed the game up, got forward, you know, added something different, a different dynamic for Brighton to think about, and to, you know, to worry about, and Everton see the game out, and we end up winning the game by 2-0. And like I said, for me, a really, really good performance. You know, the best performance of the season in my opinion. Against, let's be honest again, look, Brighton might be the best team in the world, and we might all be sitting here going, hang on, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, it's only Brighton. This Brighton team were undefeated coming into this game. This Brighton team had looked very, very good in their opening first 2 Premier League games of the season, went away to Burnley on the opening day and won, which isn't easy. And Everton just sort of were much, much better, looked a much better team, as you would expect. But how many times have we said that we expect Everton to be much the better team, you know, in this game, and Everton have gone out and lost or only managed to get a point and put in a bad performance, whereas we were really, really good, in my opinion, on Saturday, and it was a really, really good performance, really good win, good dominant second half, and Everton go into the international break undefeated, 2 wins, 1 draw in the Premier League. 7 points, as I've said. You know, I think we're 4th, 5th in the table now, obviously undefeated, and obviously a win in the Carabao Cup as well, which is absolutely brilliant. And as Stephen points out, we don't win at the Amex. We very, very rarely win at Brighton. Very, very rarely win. We beat them at Goodison, but we very, very rarely win at the Amex. So, in fact, I might be wrong in saying this, but that might be Everton's first win at the Amex since Brighton were promoted to the Premier League. So it shows that it's not an easy fixture, and even notoriously over the years with Ancelotti and with, you know, Marco Silva, etc., it's not an easy fixture. So really, really good win for me, really positive signs. And like I said, Rafa Benitez is really showing, in terms of tactically as a manager, how well he can have these players playing and how much he can get out of a squad that a lot of us thought last season was nowhere near good enough to do anything. I think Rafa's getting the most out of these players at the moment, and yes, we need to strengthen it, and yes, you know, the squad depth is a little bit worrying, because it does look like we might get to a point in the season where, you know, a couple of injuries might really, really trouble us. But look, until we get to that point, Everton are playing really good football, and we've got to be happy about it, haven't we? Trevor says, when was the last time we had so many attackers registered a goal or assist this early? Davis, Iwobi, Doucouré, DCL, Gray, Townsend and Richie within 4 games. Yeah, every one of the attackers has scored, or I think it's scored actually. Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, Demarai Gray, Andros Townsend, Alex Iwobi, all scored this early on in the season. So you're spot on, but you're spot on. Moise Kean 2-year loan, how does it work? When will his contract be finished? Well, he goes on loan, and Alan Myers and Sky Sports reported that it could rise to £35 million this deal, which was a bit mad, because everyone just sort of went, hang on, where's that come from? But it seems a bit of a complicated deal at the moment with Moise Kean, it does. We will be doing a video on it shortly, talking about it. Might even do a live stream talking about it in a second. So, Trevor says, Owen and Alan assist. Yeah, Tom Gibson says €28 million, euros plus 3 million add-ons for Kean. Snowfall says, I'd take Lingard. Toffee, we had that one out. Sol says, looks like Diaz is off the card still. If Rondon and Maitland-Niles can be brought in this window, is pretty good considering the FFP issues. Fair enough. Sol says, you can tell me that there's certain passages of play that have been heavily worked on when we counter, so fresh in considering the attacking football on display last year. The lack of attacking football on display last year. No, you're spot on, mate. Diaz is still on, isn't it, says Jonathan. Let's wait and see. Stephen says we never win at Brighton yet, and Sausage just can't see us signing Diaz without... Yeah, well, look, the rumours are that Porto want 40 million for Diaz if James isn't part of the deal. So that is looking less and less likely, isn't it? But anyway, look, massive thank you for watching. Really, really do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. As I said, we'll have loads of content coming out throughout the day regarding transfers. We're going to be back live very shortly, talking about the latest Everton news and rumours as well, so don't forget to check that one out. Join us live. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. It's free, it only takes a second, and you will be kept up to date and notified for when we go live, when we upload videos, to keep up to date with all the latest Everton news and information. A massive thank you to everybody for joining us. If you have enjoyed this one, please hit that like button. It does take a second, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Leave your comments in the comment section down below if you're watching as a YouTube video, if you're watching live. Like I said, massive thanks to everybody for getting involved. I really do appreciate it. Big thanks for watching. What a win. Undefeated going into the international break. Get in. And yeah, like I said, let's see what today brings in transfer deadline day. Massive thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.